Woo! This new moon that we have entered, I call this the Master Manifester moon. The moon's in Scorpio. I am not someone who proclaims to be a master in astrology. I just know when certain things are related to manifestation and where we're primed to really be able to do this work where it's most potent and energetically the most expansive, where you have to get into action. Like you've got to do the things. And this is why I have decided to do this episode today, where I'm going to teach you a practice to be able to call in more money than you ever have during this season. And it's your season of abundance. We are less than 60 days away from 2025. I have no idea how this happened. I feel like just yesterday it was summer. Then we all ended up in some lost in a deep vortex and we've been spit back out. And it's 11:11 right now as I just said that. And this last sentence I'm saying in the intro is why I know I'm seeing the 11:11. Right now is prime time for you to manifest the best season of your life. Not a month from now, not after the new year, not in a week, but today. Let's do this. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. Now, I know you've been going through it. This has been a very wild roller coaster of a year. There has been super high highs, super low lows. Lots of detoxing has occurred, lots of releasing people, places, and things. And right now, planetary, is that a word? Atmospherically, in the manifestation world, energetically, now is the time to receive. So I'm going to teach you today how to self-optimize so you can receive the most abundance, since you've already done the work of releasing so much this year. That insane eclipse season we had, that was all about releasing. And then you had to sit in this empty, messy middle, this dirty diaper space of discomfort where it can feel lonely, terrifying, scary, bizarre, confusing, aggravating, all the things. But that all had to happen to set you up for what we're doing right now. Now, when I'm referring to self-optimizing when it comes to manifesting money, you're not just thinking about what you want to attract or just visualizing all the things that you want. You're actively working to become the kind of person who can receive and sustain that level of abundance. This is key because if you are not embodying and becoming that type of person who attracts that kind of money, who holds on to that kind of money, the kind of things that you want in your life, the kind of clients that you want, the amount of clients, the amount of visibility that's required in your business in order to attract those number of people into your programs, your offers, and your products, it's just not going to happen. And you can't will it there. You have to intentionally prime yourself and optimize yourself to do this. And I'm going to take you through step by step exactly what you need to do. This does not need to take weeks or months. All right. This might take you listening to this episode more than one time for it to really sink in, and it will be worth it to you. You will see what happens. We are in peak primetime money making season online. So, whatever business that you're in, service based, product based, you're a healer, you're an artist, you're a coach, this is it. And so it's worth your time and energy to be making sure you are turning a couple dials over here, turning on a couple switches over here, turning down a couple dials on the other side in order to best prime yourself for this money making season. Okay, first order of business is you are going to visualize, but not in the way that you have heard many, many times before in the world of manifestation. Instead, you are visualizing from a space of embodiment, meaning this has already happened. The life that you want, the money you want, where you're at in your business, all of the things are already here. I want you to visualize what your life looks like when you have manifested this desire and how you feel in that reality. And I need you to hold that. I need you to really hold into that space of what it feels like as long as you can. Most of you who may have even attempted this before only stay in it for a few seconds. It's because you have not built that muscle of being able to receive at that level because you've not received it yet. So we are priming this muscle for you to be able to climb that mountain. It's like people who go and climb Kilimanjaro. And I'm thinking of my OG therapist, Janice, God rest her soul. One of her goals was to climb it. So she had to self optimize. She had to prime her brain and prime her body in order to be able to handle the altitude and the physicality of it. So, this is what we are doing for your manifestation muscle. And I do want you to notice if it's uncomfortable, you holding that space and visualizing and being able to dance and delight in that space. Like for me, it's being paid tens of millions of dollars for simply being me. I have a podcast on the level of like a Joe Rogan. I'm traveling all over the world. I have a best-selling book that helps tens and tens of millions of people heal their relationships with themselves, with money, and learning how to manifest in a way that actually brings things into reality and it doesn't just get stuck in this fantasy land dream state. And when I close my eyes, it brings me to tears as long as I sit there long enough. But when I first started doing this, I could only hold that for a second or two, and then I'd get distracted. And then I'd come back into it. And how does that feel waking up in the morning in that manifested state? It's already happened. How does it feel like eating lunch in that state, dinner in that state? What does a weekend look like in that state? What does a Wednesday night look in that state? What does a day when you're kind of tired look like? What's a super exciting day look like in that state? How are the people that you love operating in this manifested environment? And so these are some questions to help get you to sink in deeper and deeper and spend time in there. Maybe you work up to it when you go take a shower. Like I don't want you sitting there like forcing yourself into it, but work up into it, at least while I'm washing my hair or I'm doing my skincare routine. I'm going to stay in this state. I'm going to stay in this state when I'm at the nail salon and the tech is doing, my left hand. I'm going to be in this state as I'm driving from here to school pickup. And so set little boundaries like that for yourself to start building that muscle, just as someone would training and priming to hike Kilimanjaro, to run a half marathon. If you just go and show up at the starting line, how do you think that's going to end? It's not going to end well. You likely won't be able to finish the race. You'll get injured. You'll get so sick, you won't be able to make it up even a fifth of the way up the mountain. And then you end up sliding back down, reversing. And this is why so many of you are in this state of doing the cha cha. You're 3 steps forward, 5 steps back, 5 steps forward, 7 steps back. And you're starting to even question, I must not know how to manifest. This isn't working for me. Maybe this isn't meant for me. Maybe this dream and vision on my heart isn't mine. It's my ego that wants it. And you get all stuck in overthinking land. And it's really because you've not self optimized and primed yourself. So, this type of clarity acts as a North Star for you. This is what's going to guide the rest of these self optimizing efforts that I'm teaching you. Now we go to step 2. And just, I want to say this, you might need to be in just step 1 for an entire week period or for 2 weeks. There's no right or wrong with that. Slow and steady always wins, always finishes, always gets there. Fast and frantic leads to burnout and injuries. So, this goes along with what is going to come later in this episode when we talk about patience in relation to manifesting and self optimizing. Another thing that's going to help you is I want you to make sure you go grab my Your Season of Abundance guided walking meditation series. This will help get you and keep you in the abundant zone. When you're slipping out, it will put you back in it. And the more you're in this space, the easier this will become. And this is a great priming tool. You can swipe up. The direct access for free is inside the show notes here. It's in the description on YouTube, ProjectME TV. You can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/season of abundance. And the other thing you need to make sure that you are on, I have 2 things coming out this holiday season that will shooketh you. Okay. I've never released them before. And you have been asking for these literally for years, but there's going to be a limited run of them. So it's not like I can give them out to thousands of people. You need to be on my free Secret Posse weekly digest list. These are the special emails that I personally write and send out to you. And they are all divinely timed for exactly what you need to hear at a particular time. And there's a reason why I have a 57% open rate on my emails, which is unheard of in any industry. It's because they connect and they're designed to shift your energy so quickly, like in 30 seconds or less. So why wouldn't you open something like that? Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/secret posse, also in the show notes and in the description on YouTube. Now we're going to step 2. Now we're going to curate, cultivate your abundance mindset. I want you to start with your beliefs about what is possible for you. So you're going to replace your scarcity thoughts like, I'm not good enough. I can't have that. I'm not smart enough. I'm not young enough. I'm too old. Blah, blah, bobbity boo. With abundant beliefs like, I'm deserving of abundance. Good things do flow to me. And I'm going to give you some more affirmations in a second that I know you guys seem to really like, the ones that I create that you can write down, put them on your mirror, put them in your phone. You can record them for yourself in your audio app on your phone and listen back to them. That's another great idea. And why I need you to keep repeating things over and over again for those common scarcity thoughts that pop up in your head is we need to have these positive thoughts, these abundance thoughts need to be louder than the scarcity. And the only way to do that is to override the system with it just hearing enough of it, enough of it, enough of it. We're flooding it with water. We're flooding out the debris. We are power washing the fuck out of the scarcity thoughts in your brain. So let me actually give you some of these right now. These are some of my favorites. And I call these emotional alignment affirmations because that's really what we're doing is fine tuning and optimizing the thoughts in your mind to prime you for your ultimate greatest abundance. I feel secure, confident, and excited as my wealth continues to grow. I release any fear or doubt about money, and I embrace financial security with peace. My relationship with money is harmonious, and I feel joy in both giving and receiving. I radiate gratitude and joy for the financial blessings in my life, present and future. I feel empowered to attract and handle the wealth I desire. Ooh, let me give you one more because I love this one. Every action I take is bringing me closer to financial freedom and abundance. I am a powerful creator, and I take inspired actions to manifest the life of my dreams. Ooh, I have so many more. And in that Secret Posse weekly digest that I send out, you get a brand new custom one of the week. So you can print those out and cut it out. And some people have made their own card deck out of them. There's a lot of cool ways to use them. People put them in their journal, people put them in their planner, and they have their affirmation for the week. There's so many creative things that you guys have done with that. And we are just power washing the hell out of those scarcity thoughts, all that debris, all that clutter, all that crap that's in your mind that's getting in the way and blocking the flow of abundance to you by pouring pure, beautiful, abundant thoughts through that system. Number 3, we have to optimize your emotional state. Truly, this is the most powerful step. There's this and one more. And a lot of people go, I thought the most powerful step would be like taking the damn action. Oh, that is too. I would say they're sisters to each other, but it's very difficult to get your ass to take an action that feels risky, scary, and foreign to you if you haven't optimized your emotional state first. Very difficult to feel really strongly about climbing Kilimanjaro or by running a half marathon if you've not prepped whatsoever beforehand. If you're prepped, you're still nervous, you're still excited, but you have a grounded sense of knowing I did what was within my power to prime and prep myself for this. So I know I'm set up for this adventure. I know I'm best equipped to handle for what's to come. And that's what we're doing in this step. Manifestation is obviously deeply tied to your emotions, and feelings are the most powerful tool for attracting what you desire. So if you want to manifest abundance, you have to practice feeling abundant even before it arrives. And that can be a lot of mind fuckery, especially if you're in a jam, you're in a gunky state. You found yourself just in an energetically depleting state because life has whacked you around recently or even in the last few years. But there's no one coming to save your ass. Not me, not some dude, not some babe, not some institution, not some job, not a lotto ticket. It's you. And you're going to stay in this state, in the shits, if you do not say, you know what? I am pulling myself out of this. And this is how you start doing it is you have to make yourself practice feeling abundant, even when you have a lot of contrary evidence and things pulling at you. And I'm being realistic. I know that that is not easy, but I've been there many, many times before, and I've coached many people through it. And there's a lot of people in the posse membership that go through it. And I know what's on the other side for you. So you are going to stack the odds in your favor of success here. You need to have a toolbox of techniques that help you best optimize this emotional state. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you've got to be poly picture positive in order for this to work, or that you need to be super high energy and you're just high vibe all the time. That's too much pressure. It's a bunch of bullshit that's not required. We can't be dependent on feeling extreme emotions in order to attract abundance. We are attracting regardless of what our feelings or emotions or energy levels are like. Because if you set it up that you only attract and you only believe it's possible and you only have faith when you're in these high states, well, you're fucked. Because how often are we in those energetic states? I don't know, maybe a couple times a month if we're lucky. It needs to be a grounded sense of knowing. And that's where we get into that neutrality. I know that I am attracting everything, whether I'm in the shits or that I'm on the other end of the spectrum or anywhere in between. And you're doing your part to manage this. So, what are the techniques? Are you doing my guided walking meditations, my abundance walks that I told you where you can access those in the show notes? They're also in my link in bio on Instagram and TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany. I'm going to have you doing journaling things. And some of you do not really enjoy taking time to write things. And I get that. I literally would fire therapists if that was their main thing that they wanted me to do. But I have to tell you something. The truth comes out when you're writing, and it forces you to be still, and it forces you to be present, and it starts helping you get more focused. And that's why I avoided it, because I didn't really want to be present and I didn't want to be in my body and I didn't really want to feel, because I didn't want to deal with what feelings came up. But if you're really wanting different for yourself and you feel like you're right on the cusp of calling in a different life for yourself, you've got to do it. And little hint I'm dropping, there's something coming out very soon that's going to help you with this. But again, you're going to want to make sure you're on my Secret Posse weekly digest list. For now, I want you to take those questions that I gave in the first step of what does your life look like and feel like waking up in the morning and you've already manifested everything that you've wanted. What does a Wednesday night look like? What does it look like on a week where you're tired? What does it look like on a super exciting week? What do the holidays look like during this time? What does this particular season look like? And this doesn't mean you have to do this for hours and hours. My abundance walks, you could just do it for 3 minutes and it works. There's a reason thousands and thousands of people post their abundance walks. And I want you to do that to keep yourself accountable. Post yourself doing an abundance walk and tag me at Project Me with Tiffany, and then I'll share it. Post yourself, show your audience, show your people that you're journaling, record yourself journaling, right? Take a picture of it. You don't have to journal in the conventional way. Have you seen like the trend of the junk journaling? I'm really excited by this. I think I'm going to get into it, where you're literally taping different things that you find or that best resemble what's going on for the week. Like you found a feather, or it's a receipt from your favorite coffee shop, or someone really friendly at a grocery store gave you a sticker. You can draw, you can cut out different things. You don't literally have to be writing. It's more about the act of being intentional, still focused and present on your current emotional state and expressing that. And you're really expressing it for yourself, and the universe really feeds off this stuff. So just simply taking a few moments every day to feel these emotions of joy and contentment and excitement and delight in the life that you have created, not going to create, but the life that you have created. And this will help you let go of those lower frequency emotions like the fear, the doubt, the resentment that can block your manifestation. I want you to intentionally cultivate emotions that match the outcome that you want. Is it taking abundance baths and showers? Is it you doing a craft? Is it you playing with your animals, your kids? Is there something that you need to do every morning, even if you need to set boundaries with your partner, boundaries with your business, boundaries with yourself, boundaries with your life, that puts you in the most optimized emotional, energetic state? Even when, like, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. I did not want to go to move my body. I didn't want to go exercise. I never really want to go. I'm doing it for the after effect. Okay. I'm never someone who's like, yay, I'm going to go work out. I don't have that feeling. It's more for the after. And I didn't get myself to do it. And I paid the price yesterday for it. And then I ended up going at the end of the day, which is literally something I never do. And I'm glad I at least did that. But there's a big price I pay for not moving my body. And this doesn't mean it has to be some hardcore workout, but there's also a price I pay by not having quiet and stillness and intentional connection and emotional optimization time in the morning. And again, it doesn't have to be an hour, although I would like it to be, but I for sure need at minimum 20 minutes. And if I don't set boundaries with myself and others and my business in order to get it, I do pay the price. So I need you to look at where and what you need to optimize to set yourself up to have the best experience climbing Kilimanjaro, having the best experience running the half marathon. Okay. Let's go to 4. You're going to refine your daily habits for this season. We're fine tuning and optimizing here. Okay. So these can be micro tweaks, can give you macro manifestations. Examine your habits and your routines and ask yourself the question, are these supporting or sabotaging my manifestation goals? This includes what you're eating and drinking. Just saying. This includes who you talk to, who you give your energy to, what you obsess and ruminate over. I am an overthinker, overanalyzer. Okay. This is a natural tendency of mine. And when I'm very hurt by someone, and I have been very deeply hurt by 2 people in my life that I love so much recently, and it's very hard for me to not just keep chewing on it and talking about it and thinking about it. And I have to take a lot of contrary action and do exactly what I am teaching you to do. I have to do that in a very determined, disciplined way in order to get out of a loop. It's like I get stuck on like a broken record loop with it because I'm so hurt, and I like stay in the hurt and chew on the hurt. And it's okay. You want to feel your feelings, but if you look in the rearview mirror of a car too long, you're going to get in an accident because you're not looking what's right in front of you. You're not present. It's a sneaky form of dissociation, and it's not good. And I have had to do quite a few things daily, and this has required me to have more quiet time. I'm going down by the beach and sitting there in silence and just concentrating and looking at the waves and doing breath work. And I am taking more abundance walks. I am doing my special, I call them my detox baths. It's Epsom salt, magnesium flakes, baking soda, and then I really love, sometimes I'll use lavender oil. I also love like a eucalyptus oil in there, and that also helps me. But I have to do a lot of things in order to bring myself present when I'm in an activated state. So if you're highly activated, you are going to have to up these habits. You're going to have almost like I call it like an emergency toolkit. an emergency abundance toolkit, like picture like in a cartoon person running towards you and going, here, I've got the bag. Here's the emergency bag for right now. And I'm being serious. Like some of you are in that spot like I am. And we have to have the emergency bag, and it's not forever, and it's required. And I just want to be honest with you about that sometimes this emergency bag is even out for a month or two, sometimes even 3. And you don't have to be perfect at this. All you have to do is be dedicated to it and really keep using those tools. And even if it's not lifting immediately, it will lift. It being left unattended to and not using any habits, any tools, any of these techniques, you can end up staying in this for a very long time and stuck in this loop. So small, consistent improvements will create a huge shift over time because they reinforce the type of person who aligns with their desires. Are you the type of person who aligns with your desires? Are you the type of person who takes intentional actions to align with your desires? Are you the type of person who actively pursues abundance, or do you just let shit happen to you and sit back? Mm-hmm. Before I go on to the last couple steps, let's go to some more affirmations for you because I feel these are needed. This is to help you expand your capacity for wealth. I expand my capacity to receive and hold greater and greater wealth every day. The more I earn, the more I'm able to give, and the cycle of abundance grows. I am ready to handle large sums of money with responsibility, grace, and wisdom. I am creating a legacy of wealth and prosperity for myself and future generations. I am prepared for a life of overflowing abundance, and I embrace it fully. I love that one. I love the word embrace. It's so strong yet soft at the same time. So here's our next step of becoming an energetic match to your desires. To manifest efficiently, you have to align your energy with what you want. So this means embodying the mindset, the emotions, and actions of someone who already has what you desire. So ask yourself this question: what would the version of me who has already achieved this do, think, and feel? And then act as that version of yourself now. What would the Tiffany who already has a top tier show on the charts next to a Joe Rogan with a worldwide translated in 70 languages book that has helped millions and millions of people, what would that Tiffany do today? How would that Tiffany be thinking? How would that Tiffany be feeling? And you can go a step further and even take note of your own gaps in your thoughts and in your energy, of taking a look at what that version of you would do versus the version of how you're acting now. So using myself as an example, how are my thoughts and behaviors and energy and actions now versus how the Tiffany who is already in my manifested state be operating? She certainly wouldn't be spending hours and hours ruminating and obsessing and chewing over other people that she has absolutely no control over and wasting her precious time and energy on this bullshit. Absolutely fucking not, you know? And so you're going to start seeing some of the gaps of what you do, and not to shame yourself and not to blame yourself, but to make those fine-tuned tweaks and adjustments for self-optimizing. Take aligned actions that resonate with your goals. So if you're manifesting more financial abundance, begin managing your finances as though you're already prosperous, even in small ways. Now, this is when a lot of people roll their eyes when they hear this, they hear me talk about this somewhere. they see me on TikTok talking about this, and it's like, well, easy for you to say. You have millions in the bank, buppity boo. I can't just be irresponsible and go buy a Chanel bag, Tiffany. Well, first of all, that's not what I said. And here's what I mean. And that's interesting. If your mind's doing that, look at how activated you're getting over this. That shows me you're not in a state of believing and knowing it's absolutely possible for you. It's absolutely happening. And now we got to go back to you need to embody the mindset, emotions, and actions of someone who already has what you desire. You already have it. It's like when people say, I'll join your posse membership once I'm making more money. And it's like, um, okay, well, that's what it's designed to show you how to do. And also, it's $100 a month, right? Like, or someone who's like, oh, I want to work with you privately someday, but I know like that's the most exclusive way to work with you. And I have to be further along. And my answer is always the same. But if you're coming to me for me to show you how to get there and for you to get there faster, so that would be like you saying, I'm not going to join a gym or I'm not going to hire a trainer until I'm in shape. Or I'm not going to go see a therapist or I'm not going to go on a healing retreat until I feel less anxious or until I feel more calm in my body. It's like, well, that's what this thing is designed to help you with, right? You're not thinking in a clear manner. So you need to take actions as though it's already here. But some of the small ways, you are buying the organic fruit versus the regular fruit. You are not settling for less or settling for average or settling for okay in any area of your life. You are upgrading little things in your life. It could be the culture. Is that the word? Culture? I don't know if that's the word. Silverware? You're upgrading the forks, the spoons, the knives that you're using. You're doing some upgrades on the fragrance you put on your skincare. You're not buying cheap, flammable clothing. What are different ways that you can make those micro upgrades in your life? And all those little micro upgrades will each make you feel more abundant. And all of those habit stack and energy stack and emotional stack to make you a direct vibrational match for what you're wanting to call in. Next step, create a supportive environment. Your environment directly impacts your energy. This is why when and the near end of 2021, I had to get out of my other house that I have that I call the quiet house in the suburbs. I was dying a slow death in that relationship, even though it's with someone who I love dearly and I'm still close to, but I was dying. My life force there was almost no light left in me, and no one was coming to rescue me. There was no more waiting until this changes or hoping something will just shift magically. I had to save myself. So I decided to go forward and act as if, and I got an oceanfront beach house. And I was never have spent money like this in my life. The amount of money I was spending a month was the amount of money I used to make a year. It was insane to me. But I took a big, bold move and acted as if, and everything changed as a result because I set myself free. I was in an abundant environment. I rose to the occasion of what I was spending, and I've never turned back. My income and abundance has multiplied in so many ways. Other ways that even don't involve necessarily spending money are decluttering and organizing your space. So I am not an organized person. I'm very open about that. I don't enjoy doing it. My brain doesn't think this way, but I love being organized. And I don't love having a bunch of tchotchkes and junk all over the place. And so, even just starting one area at a time, I personally advise for you to start with your bedroom and where you work the most often, where you're intentionally having a workspace to take actions to call in abundance. So don't feel like you have to do everything. Just start in those two areas and even start with one drawer. You know how productive I feel by organizing one drawer and even putting on listen to one of my podcasts, right? Go listen to another episode and go, by the end of this episode, I'm going to have this drawer organized. And now you have some amazing multitasking going on that feels so good. I want you to surround yourself intentionally with people, places, and things that reinforce your abundance, that you can do it, that it's happening. Now, this also will naturally make you donate, dispose of, disconnect from people, places, and things that are robbing you of your abundance that maybe you weren't even fully aware of. It's kind of like natural selection is going on here. So I have a donation pickup. I support a charity, if you're familiar with them. I believe they're nationwide. They're called Battered Women. So it's for women and their children who have to escape abusive environments, and they need all the things. They're leaving with just the clothes on their back. And I have a big donation pickup actually coming today at the time of this recording. And since I scheduled the pickup, do I have all the stuff in bags ready to go? I have a couple bags set, but no. But because I have the pickup set and I've arranged it, now it's going to force me to go through all the things. And it feels good because I'm being of service and I'm paying it forward while I'm also decluttering my environment. So even these affirmations that I've given you in this episode, the ones that I send out weekly to you in the emails, you should be printing those out, writing them out, putting them in places that you can see reminders of success. It could be even as simple as you doing a really cool drawing of your own that resembles what it feels like to be in your abundant state. And no one has to know what it means, but it's something that you see every day. Maybe you frame it, or maybe it's a photo of, oh, why am I going to cry? Like I was thinking, it is very close to the year anniversary of my dear friend and mentor suddenly dying. And I was like, it'd be really cool for me to take, a photo, I have of us and frame it and be able to, be able to see his face. It was too hard for me before, but to be able to do that and go like, this is someone who supported me when really almost no one did. He was like all about the podcast when really almost every single person made fun of me, talked behind my back, was like, no one's going to make money doing that. So your supporters can be people who aren't even here. It could be even angels like Archangel Michael. It could be religious photos if you're Buddhist, if you have pictures of saints, things like that. It could be a beautiful cross, things that remind you of your faith and that you're being divinely supported, that you can either make or you can look through what you currently have, or maybe it delights you in going and purchasing something new. And this only elevates that environment and puts you in that energy of abundance. Like it helps you help yourself. Okay. This one is so hard, but practicing patience and trusting the process. This is when so many people fall off. And this is truly one of the biggest reasons, aside from accountability, but this is the other reason why I always have coaches in my life is because I need help being patient for the messy middle and manifesting and in between. Self optimizing for manifesting is not an overnight process. Okay. It requires patience and consistent effort, just like I keep bringing it back to. You want to climb Kilimanjaro, you want to successfully complete a half marathon and not get injured and feel good about it. It requires you to do work. It requires you to have patience and build muscle and stamina and do things. And you need to trust that as long as you continue to align yourself with your desires, they're on their way to you. And when you experience setbacks, I need you to see them as opportunities to fine tune your approach and fine tune your mindset, because every challenge you face provides valuable feedback to help you better align with your manifestation goals. In fact, things that you're being challenged with right now, they're actually happening for your greatest good, to help you see some character defects within yourself, to help you see where you have some dials turned the wrong way and some switches you need to turn on and some switches you need to turn off in order to be in that perfect frequency and alignment for what you're wanting to call in. So those shitty things, those painful things are actually happening for you too, in order for you to get what you're saying that you want. And letting go of any attachment to the when or the how things will happen. You have to trust that they're going to manifest in the best possible way at the best possible time for the greatest good of yourself and all. You have to. You don't do this part, it all falls apart. Imagine if you were doing all this training for the marathon or climbing Kilimanjaro and you're like, oh, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. I sprained my ankle during training. I'm not going to be able to do this. Oh, I'm not. Da, 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 da. Well, then if you keep telling yourself it's not going to work, it's not going to happen, you're just reinforcing the fact that it's not going to work, it's not going to happen, then it's not going to. And I know that's a form of self protection because you don't want to be let down and it not work. But come back to everything that I'm teaching you here to optimize yourself, because your thoughts alone are not enough. You can't think your way to manifestation. It's not going to cut it because your mind will fuck you. It's so powerful, cunning, and manipulating. It's not enough on its own because our egos are alive and well, and it gets real messy in there. It's definitely not enough. Now we've got to go in to action. What intentional actions are you going to take? We talked about a lot of the small tweaks that you can make. What are intentional actions that you are going to take right now that you know are a match for the manifestations you've already called in? What would that bitch do? What would the ZFG version of you do? What would the abundant version of you do? Would she start the thing? Would she wait? Would she procrastinate? Would she hire Tiffany? Would she go for it? Would she post the video? Would she say the thing? Would she block the person? Would she set the boundary? You know, what would that bitch do? What would that abundance version of you do? And then you need to do it. And if you're not doing it, that's also interesting to look at too. You've got to be able to take actions out of the space of knowing this is here and this is happening and it's inevitable. If you are frozen and procrastinating, you're sending the signal to the universe that I'm scared, it's not going to happen. So now you're taking actions, because no action is an action. So you're taking actions, reinforcing the fact that it's not possible and it's not going to happen for you. And this is why it's not happening. Do something different and you'll see what shifts and you'll see what changes. But is this going to necessarily happen instantaneously? No. And it certainly won't if you're expecting it to, if you're requiring it to, if you feel entitled for it to, because then that's a lesson that you need to learn, that that's just not how it works. The universe is trying to build your faith muscle because you're so entitled and you're a crying, whiny baby who wants everything and wants it now, and wants it pain-free and wants it easy and wants it fast. And that's not going to get you there. And so you're being forced to learn patience. You're being forced to build stamina. You're being forced to do the slow and steady that always wins the race. This fast and frantic, that's actually out of scarcity, and it never works. You got to slow your roll, be patient. What about that saying, all good things come to those who wait? And wow, is it uncomfortable? And then you come back to episodes like this and other episodes I have and doing the abundance walks and all these things to help you soothe your nervous system and get you back into the abundance zone. Let's end with some affirmations about letting go and trusting. I release all resistance and allow wealth to flow to me with ease. I trust the timing of my financial blessings, and I'm patient with the process. I surrender control, knowing that wealth is coming to me in the perfect way and at the perfect time. I release any limiting beliefs around money and make space for unlimited prosperity. I am at peace with my journey to wealth, knowing that abundance is already mine. I have a couple more that I want to share around appreciation affirmations. Each dollar I receive is a blessing, and I honor it with gratitude and respect. I'm thankful for the financial freedom I'm creating for myself. I appreciate the wealth that surrounds me and celebrate every form of abundance in my life. Doesn't that feel good? You're in the abundance zone right now. You shifted out of whatever you were in and into the abundance zone simply by being present and listening to this episode. These are micro actions. These are things that are in your toolkit that are here and available and, quite frankly, free for you to use at any time that you want. Go download your Season of Abundance. Get on my Secret Posse weekly digest list. Go binge other episodes and just trust whatever episode title that kind of grabs you and pulls you of all my 600 and something episodes. It doesn't matter. It's from 3 years ago or from a week ago. Trust that there's a message in there in that episode for you to hear and that you're supposed to listen to that one. Another fun thing you can do is on your phone, you can go to like the main episode page on whatever platform you listen on and kind of flick your finger and scroll it and close your eyes and then stop it. And then whatever episode you land on, it's like the universe or God has picked for you what you're supposed to listen to. And that's another fun thing you can do. I often do that even with books or my affirmation card deck. You know, you're allowing the universe to pick what page you were supposed to read of a book, what chapter, which book on your bookshelf you were supposed to pull out, which podcast episode to listen to, which playlist, even what clothes to wear for that day. Because sometimes it's better to allow a power greater than ourselves to pick, because truly our spirit guides, they know way more for us than what we are even consciously aware of. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you appreciated this episode, please pass it along, share it with someone, leave a written 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. This helps our show really grow. And you can tap the 5 stars on Spotify. You can also leave a comment. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube at ProjectME TV. This all helps and shows your appreciation and abundance. It also helps me knowing what types of episodes and topics you really appreciate so I can create more of them for you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.